As the outcries from Florida State fans and boosters grow much louder, is it finally time for the administration to fire Mike Norvell?
You are Locked On Seminoles, your daily podcast on the Florida State Seminoles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back into Locked On Seminoles. I am your host, Brian Smith, longtime college football recruiting analyst. Thank you for making Locked On Seminoles a part of your day each and every day right here on the #1 sports podcasting network in the country, Locked On. We appreciate you stopping in and checking us out. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can bet $5, and if that bet hits, you can unlock $300 in bonus bets across the FanDuel app. Just download it today. We're going to be talking about one thing, the Florida State fans. This is an apoplectic mailbag. That's what this is. Fans being irate and at the same time apathetic. That is hard to do, but that's where we're at. There are fans now walking away from Florida State. Never thought I would lead in with something like that, but it's true. I have spoken with enough people. I have read enough comments. I've seen enough posts on various social media sites, etc. The administration is in a very precarious circumstance. You need massive increase in donations and fans are walking away. And to prove that, I have a mailbag today just with comments just from last night. I posted after the show last night. I did a live show. I posted that show on the main feed at 11:45 Eastern time. I have about 2,000 people that have already viewed the show overnight. Like overnight, you don't do many numbers. It's pretty low expectation overnight. It just is what it is. People are asleep. Not last night. And it's for good reason. It is a disaster on what some of the comments are. It is a disaster on how accurate they are and how easy they were to call out. Some fans are even mad at me because I wasn't harsh enough and I had a tirade on the live show. That also puts it in perspective. So without further ado, we're going to jump into the mailbag, and there's no rhyme or reason for this, but the overall theme is very simple. Florida State administration make change, because all of these in one way or the other are pointing at them. And some of the stuff that I've been given, I'm not going to be able to say on the air, but I would, and I don't advocate for this, I literally would not want to go out in public with my family if I was a part of the athletic administration for fear of commentary or reaction from fans. Like literally, it's not a good idea to go out in public. That I can assure you is 100% accurate. And that's from a pretty nice fan base, but they are done. So here we go. After the 24-10 loss to Clemson, Cecil Choate says Florida State can't claim to be a serious football program chasing national championships if Mike Norvell is still head coach by Monday. Enough excuses. Act like Florida State or admit we've stopped being elite. This was, in my opinion, the most important one. And it's the only one I just pinned towards the top because it is very thorough. It is a sentiment of the entire fan base, and it's just accurate. You have to overspend to win. That is not a newsflash. For those that don't know, when Ohio State won the title last year, they were over $30 million in the red. And that's in a normal year. To my knowledge, Florida State, they've got the renovation and all that. They're in a much different place than Ohio State. I don't believe the Buckeyes are in the midst, quote unquote, of a stadium renovation like the Noles just did. By the way, Doak looks great. It's money well spent, I understand. But it's a different circumstance. But even with that, you have to find a way. It is your job to get coaching changes done in a very trying time in college football, which right now is, even with that. And that's what the fans are coming out with. And again, Cecil Choate just point blank spells it out. So I'm just going to read it again. Florida State can't claim to be a serious football program chasing national championships if Mike Norvell is still head coach by Monday. Enough excuses. Act like Florida State or admit we've stopped being elite. Anybody that doesn't work for the athletic administration going to push back on that? I'd love to hear comments on what Cecil said right there, because I think it is one of the better posts that I've had this year. And I'm not talking about it from this topic. I'm just saying anything that I've had, that's about as good as it gets. Florida State fans deserve better. The administration needs to do better. I'll leave it at that. Surfer RC, what's going on, man? This team can barely win at home. They have no chance on the road. It is amazing how some teams just don't have any semblance of what you thought when they play away from their home stadium. But there is a theme. Regardless of the sport or the level, teams that are good, they carry with them their same effort, their same intensity, and all of that combined with their mental preparation. Florida State does not bring that last part. The mental side of the game, like they play hard, but it is different to play hard and to play smart. It is different to play hard and to execute. Florida State just does not execute on the road. They are a bumbling, stumbling football team, and it's random what it is, like special teams yesterday. Part of it was coaching, not going after the block kick that would, or the field goal that would make it a 3-score game. Like that doesn't help. That was a very poor coaching decision. But they have drops, they have fumbles. Like they had multiple drops. It could have either been a score or led to a score. Just they don't have any mental fortitude, and that starts at the top. And it's why, like, I didn't even pull half the comments off the YouTube page, and it's a fire Norvell sentiment. And these are the nicer things compared to what some things are online that I won't even talk about. I say again, if I was in the Florida State administration, I would not want to go out in public. Not fair. It's not the way it should be, but fans are to that point. I would be very careful about that. Order and have something brought. If you need groceries, have it sent to your house. Eric Brown. This team is on eject pilot and below average. Holy cow, that is a great comment. The coaches don't have any answers and are outclassed on every level most of the time. But we shall overcome one day. So this is a fan that's going to stick around. Eric, I give credit for you having long-term faith. There is nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, it's pretty rough. I also get that as well. When we come back, I have more of your comments right here. Your team every day. Today's show is brought to you by Wayfair. The holiday season is right around the corner, and that means it's time to get your home ready. Whether you need more seating for more guests, cozy new linens, or serving anything in your kitchen, holiday hosting, whatever it may be, Wayfair's Black Friday sale is here, and it can help you make your space shine. And the best part, you don't even have to wait. Wayfair's Black Friday deals, they're going on right now. It's all month long, 70% off from everything from sofas to spatulas. So if it's something for the kitchen, if you need pillows for the couch, if you need a coaster for your table, check it out at Wayfair. Don't miss out on early Black Friday deals. Head to wayfair.com and shop Wayfair's Black Friday sale for up to 70% off. That's wayfair.com. Sale ends on December the 7th. Thank you once again for making Locked On Seminoles your first listen each and every day right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 network in the country. I'm Brian Smith, longtime recruiting analyst, and let's head back to the mailbag. By the way, great comments from everybody. I truly appreciate it. And if you have comments today on this, let it rip as well. Peter Brook, 329. Yet again, a bad year. Being able to get players for next year is going to be impossible. Who wants to play for a bad team? It's like Peter absolutely read my mind from the live show on Saturday night. I made a little longer statement that I'll make now, but I'll cut to the chase. If you think it's bad now, my expertise is recruiting in the transfer portal. I can guarantee you, based on the people I speak with constantly, directly, I'm in the 7-on-7 world, I speak with trainers, etc. And these are the people that give advice to recruits. that they actually listen to. If you think it's bad now, if they do not get rid of Mike Norvell, this offseason will be an adjunct failure for one simple reason. There will be people telling recruits that used to say going to Florida State was a good idea. It is to the point it's just flat out a bad long-term decision. That is not opinion. That is from conversations with people that are directly influencing recruits. It will be an adjunct disaster. Period. It is now on the Florida State administration. That is not opinion. That is fact. Florida State has to get rid of Mike Norvell. And I know the money doesn't work well. They still have to find a way to do it. That's simple as it gets. It will be horrific. So next, Tamika Coltrane says, I know Bobby Bowden is up in heaven saying, what the hell is going on? I often reference Bowden because I have such a fondness for his soft-hearted personality, saying these little sayings that are just so specific to the South. He grew up in Alabama. He's a good guy and all that. And of course, he's a Florida State legend, college football legend. But sometimes I envision, like, what would Bobby do when things were going bad? And he had bad years too. And certainly bad moments. You know, everybody has bad games. They didn't coach right. He got outcoached many times because he's human as well. But there's no way he can look at this from a coaching perspective and think this is functional for what is supposed to be one of the upper echelon programs in college football. It's not. And I'll use the best example here. Again, my expertise in recruiting. Bowden often said, I always thought that I could beat you because I would have better players than you, meaning he was going to build relationships, recruit the best players. Even if you outcoached me, I was probably going to have better players, but probably still going to win. Norvell has not taken that approach, and it has killed his program. It is so ironic. And Bowden's right. Better players usually win football games. Super Elvis 1951. No more wins this year, 4-8. That is straight to the point. Like, if that's not a shot directly at the administration and what's going on, I really don't know what is. Aaron Elliott 413. I have a hypothesis. 1 week isn't enough for them to prep for games. You give them more than a week, aka the Bama and weight game, they are good. Obviously, this is a shot at the staff because, let's be honest, you only get a couple of buys. And, of course, first game of the year, you get all summer to prepare for. He has a point. Aaron, shout out to you. That is concerning. Super Elvis. Hell, I could outcoach Norvell. I think a lot of people, that might be the most common sentiment that I've heard either on X, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, is just how bad he is on game day. It's pretty awful. James R. This is similar to the Miami game. And James brings up a good point. The Clemson game represents a very poor start. No real adjustments before halftime, which in today's world, you wait. No, there's no waiting. They didn't adjust. And on top of that, I'm not just talking about coaches, the players. They did not adjust their attitude. They did not adjust their focus, all of that, but it's still under the umbrella of the coaching staff. And Florida State was outclassed completely. The drop passes, the untimely penalties, Pettis, Lil Wayne, just anything that could shoot Florida State in the foot again. Here we go. And somebody made mention, I don't know if I put it on this or not, or maybe I'll find it in this list. I just put all these comments on a doc. Norvell constantly says it was uncharacteristic of us. Is it? No, it's not, because this is year 6. This is who you are. Your teams are inconsistent. They are, right now, they're kind of apathetic like fans are, and they don't react accordingly to tough situations. And my pet peeve that I even said last night on the live show, it's pretty simple. If you are not fired up and focused, and I mean laser focused, to go play a game against Clemson in Death Valley, a night game, what are you doing at Florida State? And this isn't just a few players. It was a lot. There's some pretty good players, dropping passes, etc. I mean, it's again, there's a difference between effort and execution. They both start with E, but they really don't have a whole lot to do with each other. And Florida State's lack of mental preparedness shows that execution was never an option. That is unacceptable. That is on the administration because they kept Norvell, and this is what you get. FJB 3544. I turned it off at halftime. This is a simple statement, and it is the apathetic part that I brought up earlier. Florida State fans are just done. And when I mean done, not just turning it off, they're turning off their wallets. I've had enough comments directly to me on chats, seen enough, again, on X, different social media. Florida State's administration is about to get hit in the wallet. They're not going to accept Norvell being back next year. It's your guys' job to figure it out. And I've open-endedly, probably 50 times on Locked On Seminoles, stated how it is going to be very difficult financially to make it happen. It's got to happen. You're going to put yourself in a hole that's at the bottom of an oil well out in West Texas that's a mile deep. You have to figure this out, or it's going to go really, really south. And it's going to be hard to get the right coach next year. So you better think about this long and hard. It is what it is. When we come back, we're going to talk about a few more things, and I'm going to give my take as well, along with more comments from the fans about the administration, how some of them are probably going to go. That is next, your team every day. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. He keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, let's go back into this again. And here's my theme for the rest of the show. There needs to be multiple people, not just Mr. Alford, that is moved aside, if you will. And you know what I mean by that. If Norvell is not fired, and maybe even if he is. You had to get into this mess. There were people that didn't make decisions. And there needs to be some discussions. This is a really awkward part. Some of the people that are boosters probably called for Norvell to be back. That's my guess. That is 100% speculation on my part. But if those people did, I'm not real sure if they need to be a part of the next part of it, even if they do donate. Like, you failed here. You didn't help us. Money still got to come in, and this is why it's so awkward. The people making decisions I'm concerned about at Florida State right now, and I'm just on the low end of what I think of it. Some of the comments coming up are not going to support Florida State's administration very much at all. All right, next up, Jay Smith. What you said was totally 1,000% correct. All the bad talent in Florida, all the badass talent we have in Florida and the universities we have here, and no development, no coaching, absolutely horrendous to the university and the kids. What that is referencing, I mentioned how obviously Florida is a disaster. By the way, they got obliterated by Kentucky. Holy cow, are the Gators terrible. That team's maybe more up and down than Florida State. That's hard to do. Miami, they're the best team in Florida, but they're not that great compared to their talent. This state, for as much incredible talent as there is, it's really, really sad. Again, if you had anything going on right with the administration, the coaching, Florida State would be the best team in Florida right now, and it wouldn't be close. And they're out of the big three, they might be the worst. They might be the worst team. Let's see. Jim, this is a good one. Jim Drew says, no way they will survive all this bad press. Will they? Do you have faith that the administration for Florida State University is going to come up with the dollars needed? This is just a money thing. Like I said, there's no friendly here. Do we believe it? The bad press is one thing. You still have to do the math. There is no remotely improving your bottom line with a coaching change. There's not. And with as much as Mike's, I've heard different buyout number, 54, 56, 50, whatever it is, it's ugly. Whatever that number may be, he's just the tip of the iceberg because you got to hire a new coach. The contract's probably going to be longer, like way longer than you want it to be. Everybody wants a 4 or 5 year deal. Coaches won't come anymore. They hold all the leverage. Although I'm not sure how much I would deal with Jimmy Sexton right now. He's not a very popular guy in Tallahassee. And if all people not to show their face in public in Tallahassee, Jimmy would probably be top of the board. Don't know him, but right now I don't think it would be very popular for him to be in Tallahassee. Are we sure the bad press is enough? I have no faith in the administration to make a good decision. That's just me. Do you? Florida State fans, let me hear what you have to say in the comments. John Wesson, if it's player problem, that's a Norvell problem. These are Norvell's players. True. We need to move off of him. I've gotten to a point I'm nauseated listening to him speak now. His voice sounds lost and weak. Realistically, if you look at our team, we are Memphis level in play and most the talent. Definitely our quarterbacks are Memphis quality. We were also done when we brought Gus in. Look at Auburn during his tenure, master trick plays. Usually don't work. I hate trick plays. It says you can't and don't run a fundamental offense. I could go on forever writing a whole book. This is beyond bad. I think he wants Norvell gone. What do you think? Do you think he's mad at the administration at Florida State for keeping him? I think John might have a beef. Ron Callahan. Ron's a longtime poster, and thank you very much for showing up again and leaving your comments, Ron. Florida State is a poor road team, pure and simple. When was the last time Florida State won a road game, any road game, much less versus a rival team? It was like our players were afraid. Well, I can tell you that was 2 years ago when they absolutely beat Clemson. Clemson didn't play great, but Florida State won. It's ironic, but if it's 2 years, it's a big problem. That's the last quality road win they've had. And Clemson botched that game. They had multiple turnovers and shot themselves in the foot. That's insane. That is insane for Florida State to go 2 years without a quality road win. Really is. Eric Brown, 5630. This is really an interesting post. Where's the pride in yourself? Forget about Florida State. Yourself as a player. I think he's referencing what I've brought up multiple times during the show and everybody witnessed last night that watched the game. Florida State's lack of focus, its lack of ability to rise to the moment. Like, let's just use the offense. Cross midfield, did pretty good job of moving the ball. You get to about the 40-ish, give or take, and then mental errors at some point between the 40 and about the Clemson 15 were just the theme of the night. Ball start, personal foul, missed block, missed assignment altogether, and of course the drop passes and the fumble. Like, it was a calamity of errors. So again, Eric Brown says, where's the pride in yourself? Forget about Florida State, yourself as a player. I don't like throwing stuff on guys that are 18 to 23 that much, but there is a point there. Not all of this, not all of it is Mike Norvell or the staff. The players, I thought, were worse than the staff last night, but at the end of the day, it's still the umbrella. Norvell is the leader of the program. It is his job, along with the assistants, to get them to be mentally focused. They were not. By any objective form of evaluation, Florida State was nowhere near focused. And again, this is just me talking. It's why I love college football. So this is my emotional side, openly admitted. One of the reasons that I've always enjoyed Florida State football is their home atmosphere. I've always had an affinity for Clemson in terms of their fans. Never been like a fan of the school per se, but that home crowd, that environment is cool. I always thought it'd be great to play in that environment. Florida State's players didn't look like they cared that much, at least not consistently. It's so unusual and it's hard to put into words. They go through spells, certain players, and it's on and off. It's like a red light. You have to stop once in a while, then you get yellow, you get green, etc. There's different things you do. And it's like their brain is just on a stoplight rotation. They don't function consistently. They don't. Football is about green light the whole time. Florida State players, they're seeing a lot of red. And it is bad. I don't understand that. But again, that is dropping down from the head of the football program. That is Mike Norvell. Now I will end with this. One individual today that I brought up in the mailbag said it is time to fire Norvell. It's been past time. It is way been past time. We all know the financial ramifications. If they don't do it after this, I just simply ask you the following question. Do you believe in the statement that was recently put out by Mr. Alford and the Florida State Athletic Department overall, that they will truly make an evaluation at the end of the season and get rid of it? Do you really believe there's an evaluation here? What are your thoughts? I will give mine on Monday, Tuesday, and on through the week as we're going into senior week. This is the last home game for a bunch of players. It's a very important game no matter what the season is held, because every kid that goes through and becomes a man going through college football, that doesn't make you a man. I don't know what will. But are they going to leave Florida State and just watch it continue to go downhill? And the younger players that are going to be coming back, are they going to leave this season behind and be able to go up with this group leading that? And I'm not talking about just Mike, the administration, and how many will want to leave because there's so many subpoints. I want to talk about all that stuff. Monday's show will be my own mailbag in some capacity. I will have questions for you, the Florida State fans, that I want to ask as it relates to your knowledge about all the things going on in college football. I want to talk broader. I'm not going to even really get into Virginia Tech probably till about Wednesday, is my guess. Because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of comments. Might be another mailbag on Tuesday. Probably a live show. Because people have had time to think and reflect. Maybe even, if your eyes can handle it, maybe even go back and watch some of that. Oh boy. If you do that, you are a true diehard. Having stated it, again, my take will be Monday's show. What needs to happen and why it's so awkward, because certain things that need to happen go against human emotion and pride. I hinted at it in today's mailbag, but I'll go into it further Monday. But pride. It is going to take a lot of people putting their pride aside for Florida State football to quickly ascend back up. And if they don't, it could take longer to get back up. It's just like way longer. The next decision, meeting Norvell, between now and early December, could impact Florida State for 5 to 10 years. This is a pivotal time for Florida State football. I will leave it there. Thank you very much to all of you for checking out Locked On Seminoles. Please like and subscribe, share this podcast, and if you have not already, become an everydayer. This has been Locked On Seminoles.